Hello everyone and welcome to Air New Zealand flight NZ600 from Queenstown to Wellington. This is a real flight number operated by Air New Zealand's Airbus A320 fleet, connecting New Zealand's South Island with Wellington, which is located at the southern tip of New Zealand's North Island. This flight is all about experiencing the beauty of New Zealand's landscape and the roughness of its weather. Both Queenstown and Wellington experience significant wind throughout the year, and Wellington has even been given the title the windiest city of the world. The flight is scheduled to depart from Queenstown at 11:25 am and arrive in Wellington at 12:45 pm, flight time being just over 1 hour, distance 640 kilometers. The route will take us straight over Lake Wakatipu, then turning right heading north, and passing the windy Cook Strait while descending into Wellington. It is now around 9 am in the morning and the plane is ready and waiting for us. Let's get inside and prepare for departure. Alright, let's start our preliminary cockpit preparation. Engine masters 1 and 2 off, engine mode selector norm, weather radar off, predictive wind shear off, gain knob cal, mode selector, weather and turbulence, landing gear lever down, wipers off. The batteries are on, external power is on. Let's do the APU fire test. APU fire switch check in and guarded, agent lights check off, APU fire test press and maintain, APU master switch is on, APU bleed is on, all white lights in the air condition panel are off, X bleed is set to auto, zone temperature is fine. Alright, let's have a look at the door page. Oxygen pressure looks good, hydraulic page, reservoir fluid level is within normal range, and the engine page, engine oil quantity is normal. Let's request our route data. Here we can see our flight number ANZ600 from Queenstown to Wellington. Alternative airport is Auckland. It's time for our performance data calculation. From Queenstown, runway 23, runway conditions are dry, flaps 1+F, no toga, no anti-ice, packs off, that's our takeoff weight. Winds 250 degrees, 30 knots. Temperature in QNH, and that's our runway length. When we click on calculate, we're getting our V speeds and information such as the flaps and trim position and the flex temperature. Flaps check position is aligned, that is the case. Speed brake lever check retracted and disarmed. Echo pressure indicator check, it must be in the green band. Let's check our alternate braking system. Yellow electric pump check off. Chocks check in place. Parking brake handle off. Brake pedals press. Pressure should be between 2000 and 2700 psi. Parking brake handle on. We need to get a bit more pressure on the brakes. This looks better. It's time for our exterior walk around. we are ready for boarding. All white lights off. Recorder ground control on. CVR test, press and maintain. Evacuation switch, keep that in this position. IR remote selectors, nav, strobe, auto, beacon off, signs on, emergency exit lights armed, probe and window heat, check auto. So we need to check the fuel levels of our center tank. If the center tank is below 200 kgs for the flight, we'll need to set the fuel mode to manual and center tank pumps 1 and 2 to off. We're coming to our engine fire tests. Engine 1 and 2 fire, check in and guarded. Agent 1 and 2 lights, check off. Engine 1 test, press and maintain. Engine 2 test, press and maintain. Audio switching selector norm, anti-skid and nose wheel steering on. Switching panel, all selectors, check norm. Cockpit door, lock. Thrust levers, idle. Engine master switches, off. Engine mode, norm. So I've just realized that our APU generator seems to have a malfunction. You can see the APU is running, but we have a fault. Let's check our system page, and there we do see it. We have an inoperable system, which is the APU generator. So that's something that is probably going to keep us on the ground for a while. What we're going to do now, we're going to call in mechanics from Auckland. They will come down, but it's going to take a bit of a while. The flight will likely be delayed by 3 or 4 hours at least. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. I have an important announcement regarding our flight today. During our pre-flight checks, we detected an electrical issue that needs immediate attention. For the safety of everyone on board, we will need to address this issue before we can proceed with our flight. Unfortunately, this means we will have to ask everyone to disembark the aircraft and return to the terminal while our maintenance team works on resolving the problem.
Disembark? Is that what he
We
said?
anticipate that this process may take approximately 3 to 4 hours.
I'm gonna miss my
as we
flight.
have to finish flying from Auckland. We do apologize for the inconvenience this will cause. Our ground staff will be available to assist you with any questions and provide updates on the situation. We appreciate your patience and understanding. Thank you. Welcome back. It's 4 hours later and the APU has been fixed. The error message has disappeared. Let's turn on the APU again. APU bleed on, and we can see the generator is running again. Let's check whether the generator is actually producing electricity. And yes, it is.
Queenstown Information Tango. Time 0315. Runway in use, runway T3. Surface wind 250 degrees, 30 knots. Gusts 35 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Sky conditions broken 5,000 feet. Temperature +8. Dew point -7. QNH 1005. Acknowledge receipt of information Tango on first contact with Queenstown clearance delivery. End of information Tango.
Clearance delivery New Zealand 600. Gate 2 with information Tango. Request clearance IFR to Wellington.
New Zealand 600, good afternoon. Cleared to Wellington via the NPO3 Foxtrot departure. Then as filed, climb flight level 120. Expect flight level 370 7 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 125.75. Squawk 1144.
Cleared to Wellington via the NPO3 Foxtrot departure. Then as filed, climb flight level 120. Expect flight level 370 7 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 125.75. Squawk 1144, New Zealand 600.
New Zealand 600, read back correct. Contact tower on 118.1 when ready for pushback.
When ready for pushback, tower on 118.1, New Zealand 600. Time to insert our route.
You're requesting official departure, is that correct? Anchor 634. 1637, okay, cancel that airway clearance and I'll get you a new code in a second.
Flight level 370 today. Now we need to have a look at our zero fuel weight.
Airline 637, cleared in as well, direct visual departure. 5,000 visual.
And we send the remaining fuel weights off to the MCDU. Here we go, it's all loaded. We need to insert our departure route. Runway 23 today, via the NPO3 Foxtrot. Here's the chart of our standard instrument departure. Here it's called VAPLE 2, however in the MCDU it's actually the NPO3 Foxtrot, so maybe they have renamed it recently, I'm not exactly sure. So we depart from Queenstown here, then fly across the lake to VAPLE and then north towards Avdeck and Anbov. Time to send our performance calculations to the MCDU. And here we go, it has all loaded in. Our barometric reference is correct except for down here. Flight directors on. You can see our route is no longer dashed. But in turn our speed window and heading window are now dashed. Let's set the initial altitude. Alright, let's do our takeoff briefing. We're in the Airbus A320-200 and expect broken clouds and strong headwinds during takeoff at 8 degrees Celsius. Runway conditions will be dry. Use of engine and wing anti-ice is not required for takeoff. We will be pushed back facing east and expect taxi clearance to holding point Alpha 4, runway 23. We will not need the weather radar for takeoff. Block fuel is 6.4 tons. Estimated takeoff weight 66.1 tons. Extra time at destination 30 minutes. Expected takeoff runway is runway 23. Takeoff configuration flaps 1+F with flex at 53 degrees Celsius. V1 is 133 knots, re-rotate 140 knots, V2 140 knots. Transition altitude flight level 130, thrust reduction altitude 2670 feet altitude. We need to mind the terrain to the right during initial climb. Minimum safe altitude during departure is 8000 feet. Initial climb is flight level 120. First assigned flight level is flight level 370. We will depart runway heading, then conduct a slight left turn, then a slight right turn. For any failure before V1, I would say stop or go. All clear?
All clear.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain. We are now ready for departure. Once again, we apologize for the delay caused by the technical maintenance. The error has been fixed and our aircraft is now fully airworthy. We should be on our way shortly. Our flight duration is just under 1 hour and 30 minutes. We expect strong winds during takeoff and landing, so please keep your seatbelts fastened whenever the seatbelt signs are illuminated. We do recommend to keep the seatbelts fastened during all stages of flight. If you're not very familiar with New Zealand's beautiful landscape, the weather conditions today will allow you to obtain stunning views of Queenstown and the mountains during departure. We hope you will enjoy the beautiful panorama of our windy New Zealand. Our expected arrival time in Wellington is 5 p.m. We apologize should you have missed a connection flight. In this case, please refer to our ground staff in Wellington for further assistance. We wish you a pleasant flight. External power off. Before start checklist down to the line.
Cockpit preparation
Complete.
complete. Gear pins and covers
Removed.
signs.
Auto.
ADIRS.
Nav.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Barometric reference.
Set.
Checklist completed.
Tower, New Zealand 600, request pushback and startup.
New Zealand 600, pushback and startup approved.
Pushback and startup approved, New Zealand 600. Windows and doors check closed. Beacon switch on. Thrust levers idle. Before start checklist below the line.
Windows, doors,
Closed and armed.
closed and armed. Beacon,
On.
mobile phone,
Off.
off. Thrust levers,
Idle.
parking brake.
Set.
Checklist completed.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Ready for engine start.
Engine 2, start.
Engine 2 stabilized.
Engine 1, start.
Engine 1 stabilized.
Flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
So here's our takeoff trim setting. We're going to set it to 0.7 down. Flight controls test.
Director 1261. Just 524 to 10, 6 hours. 6 hours, just 524.
After start checklist.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Ecam status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
Set.
Rudder trim.
0.
Check is completed.
New Zealand 600, request taxi.
New Zealand 600, taxi holding point Alpha 4, hold short of runway 23.
Taxi holding point Alpha 4, hold short of runway 23, New Zealand 600.
Clear left and right.
New Zealand 600, line up and wait, runway 23.
Line up and wait, runway 23, New Zealand 600. No traffic, right or left. Before takeoff checklist, down to the line.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flaps setting.
Config 1 plus F.
1 plus F. FMA and takeoff data.
Red.
Checked. Transponder.
Set.
Ecam memo.
Takeoff no blue.
Checklist completed.
Grand G'day, Qantas 121 to hold short gear ready. Surveys the 737 and Sierra Tango holding point Tango 734 right, Qantas 121.
New Zealand 600, wind 25 degrees 28 knots. Cleared for takeoff, runway 23.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 23, New Zealand 600. Before takeoff checklist, below the line.
Cabin.
Secured for takeoff.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
PEX.
Off.
TCAS.
TARA.
Checklist completed.
Takeoff.
Stabilized.
Setting flex.
Power set. B1.
600, contact departure on 125.75. Hello the flight.
Departure on 125.75, New Zealand 600. Good day. Queenstown departure, New Zealand 600, passing 2000 feet altitude, climbing flight level 120.
New Zealand 600, Queenstown departure identified.
Lever, climb. Thrust, climb. Flaps 0.
Speed checked. Flaps 0.
After takeoff, checklist down to the line.
Landing gear.
Up.
Flaps.
Retracted.
PEPs.
On.
Checklist completed.
New Zealand 600, climb and maintain flight level 370.
Climb and maintain flight level 370, New Zealand 600.
After takeoff, checklist below the line.
Barometric reference.
Standard set.
Checklist completed.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain again. As promised, we're having beautiful weather today, which allows us to view the snow-capped peaks around us in all their beauty. We hope these panoramic views offer at least a slight sense of compensation for the inconvenience caused by our delay. We shall reach our cruise altitude soon, and our flight attendants will offer snacks and beverages at no cost. We hope you enjoy the rest of our flight with us. So we're reaching our cruise altitude. Here just a quick view of our route. We departed from Queenstown across the lake, heading northeast, passing the New Zealand mountains. Here's Mount Cook, New Zealand's highest mountain. Then further to the northeast towards Wellington across the Cook Strait and intercepting the ALS. So it's time to compute our landing performance. That's Wellington, runway 34. Runway conditions are dry. We have pretty strong wind from the side. 13 degrees, that's the air pressure and our landing weight. And for the auto brakes, it's important to pick the right setting. So we've got medium auto brakes, which means that we have enough space on the runway. If we select low, you can see there's not enough runway for us, so we do have to choose medium. We use the reversers, we land manually, and we use flaps full.
New Zealand 600 cleared towards 2 Charlie arrival, expect runway 34, report when ready for descent.
Cleared Ward 2 Charlie arrival, expect runway 34, report when ready for descent, New Zealand 600. So let's pick our standard terminal arrival route. We are landing on runway 34 via the Ward 2 Charlie arrival. Insert. Here we go. That worked. Here's our route. Here's our standard terminal arrival route from Wards down to the northeast to Mida, and from Mida to the right, and then heading north into Wellington, runway 34. New Zealand 600 ready for descent.
New Zealand 600, descent to flight level 100.
Descent to flight level 100, New Zealand 600. Let's enter our destination data. QNH 1016. Temperature 13 degrees. Wind 280 degrees, 35 knots. And our ready altitude is 300 feet. And let's quickly check our RadNav. Course 340 and hours frequency are correct. Auto brakes medium. So let's do the approach briefing. We have few clouds in Wellington at 1 to 2 kilometers and 5 to 7 kilometers. Strong crosswinds from 280 degrees, temperature 13 degrees Celsius. As at current we have sufficient fuel for 30 minutes holding. We will use the Ward 2 Charlie arrival towards runway 34, holding as it Wards at 8,000 feet altitude, or Mida at 2,900 feet altitude. Afterwards we continue to Mida. Max speed at Mida is 210 knots, altitude minimum 3,000 feet, maximum 7,000 feet. At Mida we turn east to intercept the localizer runway 34. Airport elevation 41 feet, decision altitude 300 feet. Runway length 1,815 meters. Auto brake medium required. We will use reverse thrust, and we expect taxi to gate 72 via Alpha Bravo 6 Bravo. All clear?
All clear.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be arriving in Wellington shortly. As we pass a few layers of clouds, may we ask you to please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts. We expect a fair bit of turbulence during approach, so please keep your seatbelts fastened until the aircraft has come to a complete stop. Thank you for your cooperation. We need to set our altimeter to local air pressure.
East Unit 600, contact Wellington approach 119.3.
Wellington approach 119.3, New Zealand 600. Wellington approach, New Zealand 600, passing flight level 120, descending flight level 100.
New Zealand 600, Wellington approach, continue via Ward to Charlie arrival.
Continue via Ward to Charlie arrival, New Zealand 600.
New Zealand 600, descend 2,000 feet altitude, QNH 1016.
Descend 2,000 feet altitude, QNH 1016, New Zealand 600. Let's turn on our landing system. We do need a bit more drag, so I'm going to extend the speed brakes for a short time.
New Zealand 600, cleared ILS approach runway 34, contact Wellington Tower on 118.8 when established on the localizer.
Cleared ILS approach runway 34, contact Wellington Tower on 118.8 when established on the localizer, New Zealand 600. So we're about to decelerate here.
Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1.
And we're now just about to take our final turn.
Approach checklist. Briefing confirmed. ETAM status checked. Seat belts on. Barometric reference set. Decision height set. Set. Engine mode selector normal. Checklist completed.
Wellington Tower, New Zealand 600, established ILS approach runway 34.
New Zealand 600, Wellington Tower, continue approach.
Continue approach, New Zealand 600. Cabin crew, prepare for landing.
Landing checklist. Cabin secured for landing. ETAM memo landing no blue.
1000.
Landing gear down. Signs on. Spoilers armed. Flaps set. Checklist completed.
New Zealand 600, wind 280 degrees, 32 knots, cleared to land runway 34. Have a safe landing.
Cleared to land runway 34, New Zealand 600. We'll do our best.
500.
Autopilot off.
Retard. 5,
Zero 600, contact Wellington ground on 121.9.
Wellington ground on 121.9, New Zealand 600. Wellington ground, New Zealand 600, request taxi to the gate.
New Zealand 600, Wellington ground, good evening. Taxi gate 72 via taxiway, Alpha Bravo 6 Bravo.
Taxi gate 72 via taxiway, Alpha Bravo 6 Bravo, New Zealand 600.
After landing checklist. Radar and predictive wind shear. Off. Checklist completed.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wellington. Thank you for flying with us today, and once again, we apologize for the delay. Please refer to our ground staff for claims and assistance in the context of the delay. We wish you a pleasant stay in Wellington, or a safe onward journey.
Parking checklist. APU bleed. On. Yellow electric pump. Off. Engines. Off. Seatbelts. Off. External lights. Navigation lights on. Fuel pumps. Off. Parking brake. Set. Mobile phone. On. Transponder. Standby 2000. Radar predictive wind shear. Off. Checklist completed.